Good morning, listeners and viewers of Concerned Citizens Media. Welcome back and thank you for your time. I first express my appreciation for subscribing to my YouTube video and for sharing it with your friends and family members. Thank you so much for that. As you can see from this, I have some challenge on video sharing from the other medias, so it may take time to have the techniques to download all this exporting. So I apologize for old style some inconvenience until that happen, or until I hire somebody to help me with the techniques of recording, exporting, or downloading all these things. I have no idea. So thank you for coming back. I appreciate your time. Again, thank you for subscribing to Concerned Citizens Media and sharing it with your friends and family. We can grow together. Today, I have some news, but before I go to the news, I want to play some music I shared from Shabbo Media. So we're gonna do that one first. After we relax it with that one, it seems it's a revolutionary song. It's encouraging, motivating the Oromos to rise up for their right, for their freedom, to resist oppression. It's in Afan Oromo, so let's listen to it. Then we will go to the news and other videos. Thank you for your time again. This is from Shabbo Media. Credit. He's calling all Oromo or as they call it, Kefla Hagar, in the verb. Don't share, resist, get up, fight. He's calling again all the Oromo zones. He's calling all Oromos to fight for their freedom. Okay, that's enough. Thank you for Shabo Media. That's a good selection I shared from them. It is a motivating, encouraging, uniting music. It's very encouraging, and it's pushing you and inspiring you, encouraging you to fight for your freedom, for your country, instead of living under atrocities, under oppressions. Rise up, rise up, resist, the pressure. If you do that, if you unite all Oromos from all corners of Oromia, that will lead you for the successful liberation of Oromia. That's why the whole message is get up, rise up for your fight, for your right, just like Bob Marley. If you are quiet, if you are silent, everybody can play karate on you. So that's interesting. Let's go to the news, and I may have another video to share with you too. Let me see. At the end, let me arrange it first, then again, I apologize for technical issues. Let's see. No. Let's see. There you go. I'm ready now for the news. Thank you again for coming back to Concerned Citizens Media. Here are the news for January 29, 2021. Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, reappeared from undisclosed location and ended the various speculation and rumors that have been circulating on several social media. He was seen on state media visiting the healthcare facility manufacturing artificial limbs for patients. The Prime Minister said no word about his whereabouts for the last 20 plus days from the spotlights. He left the country in the dark without leader or succession for his position, and no one dares to challenge him about that. He might be adopting the same strategy as the president of Eritrea, Isaias Afwerki. Mr. Afwerki disappeared from public duties for weeks and then reappeared again after several media speculations and rumors. Abiy Ahmed's connection with the Eritrean dictator Isaias Afwerki does not bring anything good for Ethiopia or Ethiopians. So that was the news for last 20 days on social media, fake news. He is dead. He was assassinated. He was sick with COVID-19. All this created by as some media reported by Abiy Ahmed and his supporters, to confuse, to divert attentions. So, and maybe he's adapting the same strategy with Eritrean president. He is learning all bad stuff from this guy. I talked about Isaias Afwerki before, and he got nothing good. No term limit, no constitution, no opposition party, nobody say anything. There are undercover assassins in Eritrea to eliminate oppositions. So Abiy connecting with this guy, he's gonna bring a lot of trouble for Ethiopia and the Ethiopians. And we are watching it. It is happening under our watch. The hashtag Oromo Yellow Movement Challenge faces challenge in Ethiopia. Abiy Ahmed Security Forces and his undercover operatives have taken several Oromo youths, more than 120 in number, who dressed up in yellow clothing to show their support for illegally jailed all Oromo politicians, including Jawar Mohammed, Baqqala Garba, Hamza Borana, Michael Boran, Abdi Ragasa, and others. Mikhail Boran, I mean. The court's hearing for these senior Oromo political prisoners was also forced to postpone on this unfortunate incident. There is report of hunger strikes by Jawar Mohammed, Baqqala Garba, Hamza Borana, and others in the opposition of the detention of these Yellow Movement activists and supporters by Abiy Ahmed's operatives. This politically motivated court drama has no ending sight for now, and justice is not expected from Abiy Ahmed's controlled illegal system in Ethiopia. Justice is in the hands of Qarres, Keros, and all Oromos living back home and in the global communities. Our strengths in all fronts are the only thing that can bring these Oromo political prisoners and others to freedom. We are more than 50 million, and if all or half or quarter of that revolt against Abiy Ahmed, he will have no choice except to fulfill our demands. Our weakness is giving him more time to kill our people, torture us, rape our sisters and moms, arrest us, and drag us to endless court dramas, destroy our properties, and subject us to several human rights violations. We must find a way to build our strengths, like the Indian farmers protesting their government 3 new rules. They have been out on the street for more than a month in front of brutal security forces, and they are gaining momentum in their demands. So this is mostly is the comment of concerned citizens media on the arrest of the Yellow Movement activists in Addis Ababa and some other towns and cities. So Abiy Ahmed is testing Oromo. He already tested us by, assassinating Hachalu Hundessa, arresting thousands and thousands of Oromos, arresting our senior politicians. So he is testing what they're gonna bring. What? Just, they are just in numbers, 50 million. They can't do nothing. That is a test. So, but if you motivate ourselves, unite our strengths, our collective power, our numbers, we can defeat anybody in that country. Nobody can challenge Oromo. But we just see no activities after the arrest of all political prisoners, almost. They're coming out now. Before they came out in some cities like Awadai, Dret Ayara, some in the RC area, but not in a big number. We need a big number. We need encouragement, motivation to bring in a huge number to make a difference, to challenge them. We are waiting justice from our killers. You can't get justice from your own killer, from your own abusers. You get justice by forcing, by uniting your force, by your strengths. And nobody gonna give you freedom if you are just sit and watch. So 50 million, it is a good number. We are more than 50 million. It's a good number. But if you don't use it, if you don't encourage it, if you don't rise up for our rights, that remains just a number. So that's a comment from Concerned Citizens Media. And the music is the one I started with. That's also talking about the unity of Oromos from all corners, RC, Bale, Jimma, Guji, Wallo, all this. So we need to bring that unity and need to organize ourselves to get justice for ourselves, for our family, friends, for our politicians. Ethio-Sudan tension continue. Sudan rejected again Ethiopia's call for the complete withdrawal of Sudanese military forces from Ethiopia's territories. Sudan said it will not give away any inch of its land, and that is not for negotiation. That is, it has been the position for the position of Sudan for a while. Sudan has repeatedly confirmed its similar position on previous briefings to the media. Nobody knows how this tension might be over and in what ways. So the tension still continues and has no ending sight. Next is the good things from our new administration in the United States. Really, that is the leadership, the good leadership working for the people. Here, as I read on previous program, he signed many, I think more than 30 executive orders, all friendly to Americans and to the global communities, from immigration, from World Health Organization, climate, and you name it, so many friendly. So he is also doing other very good duties. So the following, some of these, I think 3 of them or 4, they're all about Biden and his administration. These are all very encouraging, very friendly news. We see the difference now after Mr. Trump is removed. Biden administration puts hold on foreign arms sale, including F-35 to United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates, as many media reported, helped Abiy Ahmed to use drones against Tigrayans. So halting any sale of weapons to this country is good for stability of our country and other areas. This temporary pause affects a massive 23 billion transfer of stealth F-35 fighters to the United Arab Emirates. 23 billion, which was signed by Trump at the end of his term. The United States Department is temporarily pausing the implementation of some pending U.S. defense transfers and sales under foreign military sale and direct commercial sale to allow incoming leadership an opportunity to review, the department said. Former President Donald Trump awarded United Arab Emirates the sales of 50 F-35 and other military hardware for United Arab Emirates, recognition of the State of Israel, and for normalizing its diplomatic relation with her. That is like bribing. It's bribing. You know, if you do this, we give you this. That's a bribe. So, United Arab Emirates getting all these very strong fighter jets and other military hardwares for recognizing Israel and forming diplomatic relations. Former President Donald Trump and his then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo also used an emergency authorization to sell military hardware to Saudi Arabia by ignoring the Congress' concern about that deal. Thanks to President Joe Biden, all that sales are under review now. The United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia might use these heavy military weapons to destabilize the global peace or to kill the Houthis in Yemen, which is already suffering from the worst humanitarian crisis. So, Trump and Mike Pompeo, they used emergency authorization by ignoring Congress to sell some heavy military weapons to Saudi Arabia. That government is a challenge. They do everything. They are looking for a mechanism to help their friends. They don't care about the laws. They don't care. You know, if they find a way, they use it. So they try to use emergency authorization to sell some stuff to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, as you know, they are bombing, destroying Yemen. So that's one good thing to review, to temporarily halt that sale, thanks to the new administration. The United States, this is another one, another good thing. The United States is restoring relationship with Palestinians. This is very good one. President Joe Biden's administration announced Tuesday it was restoring relations with the Palestinians and renewing aid to Palestinian refugees, a reversal of the Trump administration's cut-off and a key element of its new support for two-state solution to decades-old conflict between Israelis and the Palestinians. In order to advance these objectives, the Biden administration will restore credible U.S. engagement with Palestinians as well as Israelis. Acting U.S. Ambassador Richard Mills said. Former President Donald Trump punished Palestinians by announcing the fake deals of the century, if you remember, deals of the century, and cutting aid to Palestinians, shutting Palestinian diplomatic relationship with U.S., and by declaring unilaterally Jerusalem as the capital city of Israel. The Biden administration also urged Israel's government to avoid unilateral steps that make a two-state solution more difficult, such as annexation of territory, settlement activity, demolitions, and providing compensation for individuals in prison for acts of terrorism, this one in case of Palestinian authorities. So the Biden administration warn or encourage both sides to do not to do not to take unilateral actions. In the case of Israel, demolition of Palestinian homes, annexation of Palestinian land, other practice they have been doing for many years, and it's really encouraging news for Palestinians. Really, they were ignored by Republicans. Ignored. We remember Bush time; they were under heavy bombardment until Obama came in, Bush out. Between that time, we remember all this heavy bombardment, and the United Nations, they just keep talking about 1967 border. The country, Palestinians are losing. They're talking about 1967. Many area is taken after 1967. So I don't know how they're gonna go to that far. How I don't know. I don't know how Israelis are willingly go back to 1967 border. It is unimaginable. If that happens, it is really interesting to see. So they said, the Israelis, they said that is like Sudanese. Sudanese, they say, we don't give any inch of our land. Israelis already said, talking about 1967 is non-starter. So this is a tough one, tough area. This area is under huge explosion, like earthquake. Some areas are sitting on the earthquake. So that area is same, and Israelis are expanding, destroying Palestinian homes, grabbing more land, negotiating, forming diplomatic relations with the neighboring Arab countries. This is all an attempt to swallow that small area, probably taken away by Israelis. So this is an encouraging news against that by Biden administration. We should appreciate, thanks to the American voters. Really, this is a big change. Trump shut down all the aids, all the help to the Palestinian refugees, refused to deal with the Palestinian authorities, recognized Jerusalem by his authority. Jerusalem is claimed by Palestinians as their future capital city. So how it's going to be resolved, we will see. But this is a good start. This is a good start. we have to say thank you, Joe Biden and his administration, for reopening the door and helping the Palestinian refugees, opening the office, the diplomatic relation with Palestinians. Trump administration tried to put the blame, the blame they use, like terrorism, to delegitimize legitimate movement and cut the account activities. So really, I feel happy so far about Joe Biden's administration. Here is another one. Another good one from Joe Biden again. President Joe Biden signed another executive order today to remove Donald Trump's obstacles in healthcare enrollment. This executive order facilitates or gives an opportunity for American citizens to sign for affordable health care insurance, which is also called Obamacare. Donald Trump made it expire this signing process on December 15, 2020. So he cut it, so made it expire in December 15. So he make it short, and he tried 4 years to throw it out. He was not successful. He never slept. He never slept. He was talking about it. He was talking about removing it. He was not successful, and he was talking and bringing a nice one to replace it, but he is empty. That's always a lie. It's empty. I'm glad he's gone. I hope he will not come back to politics again. Him and his followers, his supporters. Thanks to President Joe Biden, the registration will be open again for 3 months. For 3 months, starting February 15, 2021. So anybody, can sign. Whoever missed the signing process in December, they can have the chance to sign starting February 15 for 3 months. See how public friendly this president is and his administration. So that is a very good one, and I will keep reporting all public friendly news about Joe Biden, those news really affecting American citizens and the global community. So credit, most of them is Associated Press, and the last one is CNN. So that's all the reading part of the news. Thank you again. Thank you. And I will share some videos, then I will end today's program. Let's see. Okay. Come on. Okay, still I have challenge as I said, so I will adjust it, then I'll play it. Oh, come on. Okay, that's an advertisement.
Italy's head of state, President Sergio Mattarella, will ask him to try to form a new, stronger alternative government. Well, Mr. Conte lost his majority in the Senate last week after Italia Viva, a small party led by
this
the
is
former
common
Prime
in
Minister
Italy.
Renzi,
They
left
just
the fragile
resign.
Joining me now from Rome is our correspondent, Mark Lowen. Mark, we've been anticipating this resignation.
We have, Gita, because without a majority in the upper house of Parliament, which is what happened last week when Giuseppe Conte lost it, it would have been a torturous process to get any legislation at all through Parliament. There would have been horse trading and negotiations on any kind of legislative step. And facing another vote later on this week on passing a piece of legislation, it was thought that Giuseppe Conte decided to quit before he lost that vote. He has now gone to see the president here in Italy, and as a quirk of Italian politics, when a prime minister resigns, he might simply just return following weeks of negotiations to try to build a new strengthened coalition, and he will argue that in the midst of a pandemic that has killed more than 85,000 Italians and unleashed the worst economic crisis since the Second World War, now is not the time to plunge Italy into fresh elections. However, if he fails to get the numbers needed to command a parliamentary majority, that task would fall to other political leaders, and if all else fails, then yes, Italy would be facing fresh elections.
And who is he going to be reaching out to, and how will that change the sort of focus of the government, given that there has been this criticism on the whole handling of the pandemic?
Yeah, he'll be reaching out to various centrist members of the opposition, trying to peel them away, to focus minds, to give them a kind of sense of urgency now to come together in what he will call a government of national salvation, to try to lead Italy through the very difficult next few months. And there's another factor in all of this, Gita, which is that opinion polls suggest that if elections were to be held now, then a right-wing coalition would come into power, and the biggest party would be the far-right League Party, led by the firebrand nationalist Matteo Salvini. And so Mr. Conte will argue and will hope that potential threat would focus enough minds among centrist politicians to kind of rally behind him and decide to form a new coalition led by him. But nothing is certain in this country, of course, and Italy's 66th government since the Second World War comes to a close. But possibly Italy's 29th Prime Minister since the Second World War will simply return as Italy's 29th Prime Minister since the Second World War.
Mark Lowen in Rome. Politics always interesting there. Thanks so much.
Did you know that life coaching isn't just for grown-ups? It's a game changer for our children. Now more than ever, our kids need the tools and the mindset.
Police in the Indian capital Delhi have clashed with protesting farmers after tens of thousands converged on the city to express anger over agricultural reforms. The mass demonstrations turned violent after protesters broke through police barricades. Farmers fear the reforms to the agriculture industry will damage their livelihoods. It's the biggest protest yet, and it came during India's Republic Day celebrations. The BBC's India correspondent Yogita Lime reports.
A bus that was used as a roadblock being pushed aside. Barricades being broken. Hundreds of thousands of farmers marched into Delhi on Tuesday from neighbouring states. A planned protest, but it deviated from the routes it was allowed on. Finally reaching the Red Fort, a place of great political and historical significance in India. Police fired rounds of tear gas and in some places led a battle charge. At the heart of this protest, new agricultural laws passed by the government in September last year. Prime Minister Modi will have to take back these black laws, a farmer told BBC Hindi. Protesters fear the changes will open them to exploitation by private companies and have been demonstrating against them for months now. Not far from the chaos and anger, the order and pomp of India's Republic Day celebrations. An annual parade displaying the country's military might and cultural diversity. Attended by India's top leadership. For Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the ongoing protests are the biggest challenge he's faced since he came to power in 2014. He says the new laws will reform agriculture and help farmers. But for the first first time in nearly 7 years, his government has been forced to negotiate with protesters. Several rounds of talks have been held with no result. And these images show how hard it will be to find a resolution. Yogita Lemay, BBC News, India.
Well, earlier I spoke to Abiy Ahmed, who is General Secretary of the AIK-SCC, a pan-Indian umbrella group comprising some 250 farmers' organisations.
You see, patience is the shield and the sword that the farmers are using in this agitation. For some reason, the government is pushing the farmers hard to lose patience. What happened today was not part of the plan. There is a committee which manages, but there are, as I said, 500 organizations, and something went out of circuit today. It shouldn't have happened. We will have to review it. We will have to have deep and deliberate discussions. It's a very critical moment. I completely agree with that. But I think to put the blame entirely on the farmers' organizations as having committed violence and arson, and there are many other objectives going around, is harsh and one-sided.
Well, we can see the images for ourselves, and there clearly are violent protests taking place amidst a global pandemic when it's dangerous for people to gather in these sorts of numbers. It puts pressure on the police. The Republic Day celebrations are organised to try and minimise the numbers of the streets in Delhi.
The farmers have been sitting in protest for 60 days now, exactly 60 days. More than a few 100,000 farmers are at the borders of Delhi. I was the one who wrote a letter to the police chief asking for a place to protest inside Delhi. The police refused as far back as 26th November. So what option do farmers' organizations really have at this point? We don't enjoy being at the borders of Delhi sitting on the highway. We don't want to block anything. There are...
Why do you want to go into Delhi itself? Why is that so important?
It's for the visuals. There is a place called Boat Club in Delhi which can accommodate protests of this size. We specifically asked for Boat Club, and the other one is Ram Leela Maidan. Both were refused for reasons which are bizarre. I can't understand it. So the police do not want the media to be able to capture images of the protest within Delhi, and have not been wanting for the last 60 days.
Are you going to make sure, though, that whether this violence was organised in advance or whether it just simply spiralled out of control, that is not going to happen again? Are you in a position to control people now?
500 organizations, 500 leaders, but we meet. We meet in the general body. What happened today, I repeat, was not planned, should not have happened. But now that it has happened, we must go back to the drawing board and ensure that the farmers' protests continue to remain peaceful, because that's our only strength.
Abiy Ahmed there from a pan-Indian umbrella group, the AIK-SCC, representing farmers' organisation.
Say, did you know protein may be the cause of your arthritis and chronic joint pain? Yeah, my whole life I thought.
Okay, this may be the last one.
People back onto the streets. Protesters say they are hungry, unable to cope with a coronavirus lockdown now in its third week. They want economic support. This is how the authorities responded.
That's Lebanon.
The politicians are focusing on distributing the spoils instead of focusing on us. We are witnessing a collapse in all sectors: security, politics, and health. They are all irresponsible. They are leaving us to die.
Lebanon's economic collapse began more than a year ago. There have been social unrest and political turmoil since. Officials say 500,000 families, or 2.5 million people, are in need of assistance. That's nearly half the population. Compliance with a 24-hour curfew that exempts essential workers is weak in Lebanon's second largest city, Tripoli. It was already poor before the pandemic.
These people are obliged to work, even though it puts their health at risk. Other governments are enforcing lockdowns, but they give people aid.
There is no social safety net for the poor, no government assistance. The state is nearly bankrupt. 1/3 of the workforce is jobless, and around half of the workforce depends on daily wages, like Abu Yahya. He has 4 children, no shop, and on a good day, he makes 20,000 Lebanese pounds, which is less than $3 at the black market rate.
Life has become so hard. I can't even describe it. I'm barely able to feed my family, while others can't even do that.
Charity associations say more and more people are relying on handouts, among them the middle class. The cost of daily life is becoming too high, especially since the local currency's value collapsed.
On a daily basis, we have people who would like to register because, of course, we register them according to nationality and location. So I must say that the numbers are increasing on a daily basis.
The open-ended political crisis is not helping. Politicians are arguing about cabinet seats instead of agreeing to fight corruption, allowing Lebanon to receive much-needed international financial assistance. The lockdown is in place until February 8, and it can be extended. Officials are promising to help the most vulnerable and are asking people to be patient. But for many, that's not an option. Zana Khuder, Al Jazeera, Tripoli, Northern Lebanon.
Okay, thank you to Al Jazeera for that reporting. So that's the challenge of comes with COVID-19, as it happened in other cities like Netherlands, I reported before, and other cities and countries. The one I'm encouraged and I talked about is the Indian farmers protesting 3 new laws. See, and nobody arrested, nobody was killed before the protest. I mean, so the government want to change the rules without talking to the farmers, as I can understand. They must first consulted. They must have consulted with the farmers. If they have consulted, negotiated, explain what these new rules means for the farmers, it could have been avoided. But when you compare this with what's happening in Ethiopia, these people are protesting the new rules, but we are silent mostly. We are leaving the movement to youngsters, keros, kares. No, the whole society should rise up for freedom. Nothing can be left for youngsters. Yes, the youngsters are highly motivated, encouraged. They question the government. Yes, that is true. But we have to come out with a big number, as I said before. Big number, not 200, not 3,000. We are, as I said, we are what? More than 50 million. We have to bring at least 1 million to Finfinne to force Abiy Ahmed to negotiate about all these political prisoners, all the killings in Oromo, all the detention of thousands and thousands of Oromos, including in public offices and public schools, buildings. It's horrible. So as I said, we are tested by this new regime. He took the advantage of the revolution. He bought the time to organize the military, the police, the undercover security forces, because he was saying, hey, I will do everything for you. I will answer your questions. I understand. Don't rush, please. Slow down. We got you. Slowly. But he was strengthening, thinking he can win by force, by creating all these yes men, whether you go to the court system, the police, the military, all these, the parliament, all of them are the yes men. Nobody raise tough question. So it's up to the Oromos to come out like the Indian farmers and challenge this government, demand their all questions, whether political prisoners, elections. If you are quiet, election will be taken away from you. Don't expect free and fair election. We already see the board is working with Abiy, eliminating the parties, minimizing the number of parties. So don't expect free and fair election. Abiy will win for the next 5 years. So if you give him a chance, if you are quiet. So it's a tough one. It requires tough fight. It requires unity. It requires encouragement to rise up together peacefully. Don't throw stone. Just peacefully, just like this. Show your resistance. Say, I will not go home until the political prisoners are out from jail. All of them. Until the military stop the command post activities in Oromo, until they stop raping our women, our sisters, killing our people, and throwing their bodies in forest and by riverside. If you don't continue that resistance, this and other atrocities will continue in Oromia, and our number just become a number, meaningless number. So that's all I have for today. Thank you again. Thank you so much for subscribing to Concerned Citizens Media and for sharing with your friends and relatives. Appreciated. Your comment is appreciated. And if you have news worthy item, you can email me birke663@gmail.com. You can comment on my video, like it, subscribe it again. Thank you so much. I will be back with other news and comment. So long, everyone.